The Stoic mindset, how to stay calm, strong, and unstoppable. In the city of Cyprus, around 300 BC, there lived a wealthy trader named Zeno. During a voyage from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his ship sank, along with all of his cargo. In a single moment, an event entirely outside of his control, Zeno lost everything. Imagine being in his position, your entire life's work erased by the force of nature. How would you react? Anger? Sadness? The feeling that life has betrayed you? For most people, those reactions would be expected. But not for Zeno, the man who would go on to become the father of Stoicism. The birth of Stoicism. After his misfortune, Zeno found comfort in philosophy. He studied the works of Socrates and other great thinkers, eventually developing and teaching what we now know as Stoicism. At its core, Stoicism is about acceptance and control. It recognizes that while we have little say over what happens to us, we have full authority over how we respond. Instead of crying over spilled milk, or in Zeno's case, sunken cargo, he chose to remain composed, calm, and neutral. Modern misconceptions about Stoicism. Today, people often misunderstand Stoics as emotionless or unfeeling. But Stoicism is not about denying emotions, it's about processing them productively. Stoicism isn't just a mindset, it's a way of life. A way of viewing and understanding the world. And despite being founded over 2,000 years ago, its principles are as powerful and relevant today as they were then. Perspective, the Stoic advantage. Stoicism teaches that our perspective is everything. Negative experiences can still offer us growth. Everyone sees the world differently, shaped by personal experiences. And through that lens, even misfortune can serve a purpose. The Stoics gathered and taught their philosophy in public. They believed knowledge should be accessible to everyone, not hidden behind the walls of an elite academy. As a result, Stoicism reached people from all walks of life. From Epictetus, a former slave, to Seneca, a renowned statesman, and even Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, Stoicism united the high and low alike. They even coined the word cosmopolitan, meaning citizen of the world. To them, the idea of unity among all people was not just noble, it was necessary. Stoicism and gender equality. In Zeno's time, women were typically barred from pursuing philosophy. But Stoics challenged this status quo. Musonius Rufus, teacher of Epictetus, once said, "It is not men alone who possess eagerness and a natural inclination toward virtue, but women also. So why is it appropriate for men to seek out and examine how they might live well, but not women?" Even in an age of restriction, Stoics believed philosophy belonged to everyone. Why people embrace Stoicism today? So why do people today still turn to Stoicism? Because the world is unpredictable. Life can change in an instant. And when bad things happen, especially unexpected ones, our emotions can overwhelm us. Rain, for example, is beneficial. It waters crops, hydrates livestock, and cools the air. But when it catches us unprepared, it feels inconvenient. Still, we don't cry when it rains, because we expect it. We've accepted it as part of life. Stoicism teaches us to treat all of life's challenges the same way. Expect misfortune. Prepare for it. If it happens, you're ready. If it doesn't, you're grateful. Voluntary discomfort, training for life. One Stoic exercise is called voluntary discomfort. The goal is to build mental resilience and increase gratitude. Try sleeping on the kitchen floor, taking cold showers instead of hot ones, or eating plain food for several days. These exercises help you realize that, even in discomfort, you can survive. You can even thrive. In today's consumer-driven world, where we're constantly told we're not enough unless we buy more or look a certain way, this practice is more important than ever. Releasing unrealistic expectations. We're shaped by lessons from home, school, and society. But often, these lessons conflict. If we internalize everything, we may set ourselves up for constant disappointment. Instead of chasing unrealistic standards, we must focus on improving ourselves, for ourselves. Actions done for external validation often lead to frustration. But actions done for intrinsic reasons lead to fulfillment. Why external happiness fails? Too often, people try to fill internal voids with external things, cars, houses, careers, even relationships. But these things can fail us. Cars break down. Natural disasters destroy homes. Divorce rates rise. Even the free things in life require space, both mental and physical. As Seneca once said, learning to live with less will create space in your life for the things that truly matter. True happiness comes not from what we own, but from who we are. The dichotomy of control, Stoicism's core principle. This is the dichotomy of control, the most important Stoic concept. As Epictetus said, the chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. We should not determine our self-worth based on outcomes we can't control. Instead, we must focus on our effort, our values, and our reactions. A creator's example. Take a YouTuber. They brainstorm, research, script, film, edit, and upload. Everything up to the upload is under their control. But the algorithm? Viewer response? Not so much. Judging their work by views and likes sets them up for frustration. Instead, they should measure success by the quality of their effort. Trust the process. Mindset shift, a promotion denied. Imagine someone who's worked hard for 6 months, hoping for a promotion. They present their performance report, but their boss turns them down. He assumes he's failed. But maybe the company is struggling financially. Maybe someone else was more qualified. Maybe the boss was just in a bad mood. If he had measured his value by the effort he put in, not the outcome, he could have walked away with peace of mind and continued forward with confidence. Wealth and the 4 virtues of Stoicism. A Stoic does not seek wealth for its own sake. They seek to live well, with or without it. The 4 main Stoic virtues guide this path. 1. Wisdom, knowing what is and isn't under your control, and choosing the right response. 2. Courage, to persist and resist. 3. Temperance, practicing moderation, needing less, wanting less, and doing more with less. 4. Justice, the most important. To harm no one. To do good. To recognize that we were all born for each other. Nelson Mandela, a modern Stoic. Consider Nelson Mandela. Sentenced to life imprisonment for opposing apartheid, he spent 27 years behind bars. Upon release, he became president of South Africa. Many expected revenge. But instead, he chose peace and reconciliation. He read the works of Marcus Aurelius during his imprisonment and embraced Stoic values. He believed the past was beyond his control, and the only option was to rebuild a better future. Stoicism in modern psychology. Stoicism is the backbone of modern practices like rational emotive behavioral therapy, REBT, and logotherapy. REBT helps people challenge and reframe negative thoughts. Logotherapy, developed by Viktor Frankl, focuses on finding meaning in suffering. Even in darkness, purpose brings light. Final thoughts, peace amid chaos. To fix our unhappiness, we must realign our self-worth. Focus on what we can control. Let go of what we cannot. In doing so, we find peace. Stoicism helps us navigate both storms and still waters. And if the ship sinks, we can take comfort in the fact that we lived well, and with virtue. Because remember, everything has an end.